Little man never did exams, got a particular bigger plan, flipping grams when a bigger man in his gang gave him a stick to bang. Or maybe just hold, cause no one thought he would kill a man till he caught a silly Billy villain chilling in a jam, sipping sham, spliff in his hand, triggered in a jam. Bang, bang, biddy, bang, biddy, biddy, bang. Now he's in the can, thinking damn what a pity fan. Rappers are yapping and flapping their lips about how they're packing and clapping their sticks. Has to be big, the impact it has on the kids. Tell me where the factory is. The government killed, they're just stacking their chips. You wonder why the youth them are strapped and they're pissed. If not a nine, it's a knife getting jabbed in your ribs. People die for the petrol and gas and our whip. In London, you can get shanked in the heart, still the government put more tax in the rock. Ignorant little spitters are talking greasy, cause they bitten bits that they saw on TV. If all you rap about is the holes in the dope, it's already too late. You sold them, you sold. You jokers act like you know, but you don't, cause there's little kids dying all over the globe.
My lights out on nights out, but days in spent blazing. Didn't tell me to navigate ways in the mazes. A white out, it's right out, amazing to think. Now let the revolutionary sing.
Stand up for your rights and fight for revolution. Free your mind and so ignite the Constitution. Cause they're killing us all. They're killing us all.
Little man never did exams. He be chilling with his fam in a flat, spliffing and spitting raps. But there's more than one way to skin a cat. Gotta make up for the things that he didn't have. Wanna be the damn little man's got bigger plans. Wanna be bigger than Jigger and kill a can. Picture that while he's sitting back, sipping out a Guinness can for the track. Done with the chit chat, little man dealing crack for a bit of cash. Got his shit on smash, feeling stack. Living isn't bad till the cat got on his flat and hit him with a bat. And he found where he hid his stash. Little man found it, he getting back. Now he really mad. Feeling militant, put on his Timberlands and headed to the flat where the cats that had jacked him was chilling at. Ball through the gas, fill it with gas and lit a match. Put it in a rand and it went kabang. But the cat's whole family was in the flat. Now it's definitely death or prison for little man. He could have been one in a million. He could have had the whole world in his hands. But shit in the fan when the cat come back with the strap. Put the trigger back, finish little man in the flash is a fact. The revolution is dead
My
now.
lights out on nights out, but days in spent blazing. Didn't tell me to navigate ways in the mazes. A white out, it's right out, amazing to think. Now let the revolutionary sing.
Stand up for your rights and fight for revolution. Free your mind and so ignite the Constitution. Cause they're killing us all. They're killing us all. Stand up for your rights and fight for revolution. Free your mind and so ignite the Constitution. Cause they're killing us all. They're killing us all.
As you may know by now, I've expanded Mouse Rebel News. I think many have forgot when I first started it was with two other guys. So it's kind of bullshit that fanatic ML and incel types don't like that I'm sharing MRN with friends of the Federated MLM cadres. My successor for MRN is the Inglesys Falcon General of MRN Youth. This is to be a safe space for Maoists, anarchists, demarchists, and third worldists. Now, the reason why the Inglesys and Falcon General are the junior Maoist rebels is because they are like me. I oppose whiteness, but I am very post-white. I indeed have white privilege, as well as male privilege, and apparently I have height privilege as well. The proletarianization happened in my young adult life. I've bounced between labor aristocrat and lumpen ever since. They're usually stuck in the first world consumer service class. You know, you work at a gas station, you know, you're just a minimum wage guy behind the counter, the cash register, you know, it's nothing special. I don't put much stock into first world consumer service classes. They are employees, not workers, except for those in the sacrifice zones. By the way, I'm only speaking from a USA-Canada point of view. Japan, South Korea, UK, Europe, and other first world is an entirely separate matter itself. The state of Ohio, the city of Detroit are both sacrifice zones. That is where the first world consumer class have the most revolutionary potential. There are several sacrifice zones throughout the first world, but most of them are in the USA. The soul of first worldom is whiteness. But the lesser soul of first worldism is Eurasianism, which is very much what Caleb Maupin is about. Of course, while I disagree with Dangism, I don't consider them all the same group. But the Dangists will not tolerate are the ones who fuse their bullshit with Duganite fascist logic. But back to my unpacking of my whiteness. I have no loyalty to the white man. The white man is a Western patriarch, forgotten by his father, Western Christendom. Begotten by his father, Christian Westerndom. The Falcon General is from an upper-middle-class background, but her loyalty is towards the Makina national struggle, and she is a friend of Panther Code and dissident Maoist friends of ours like Deadman. I relate as I reject whiteness just as much as she rejects her class. The Englist is a speaking representative of the federated MLM cadre. Luke Dublin is an Irish mouse from a proletarian family that became Labour aristocrat, yet Luke is motivated by his proletarian background and is loyal to the Irish liberation struggle as well as revolutionary pan-Europeanism. I am just like Luke the Anglist. Myself, Luke, Falcone are rearguard press representatives and are proud of what we do on the unremovable MRN staff. That is to say, on the permanent MRN staff. DaStoned Soviet is now known as Lumpen Third Worldist. Lumpen Third Worldist is front guard and he has the power to override both the Inglesists and the Falcone General. Other staff will include Maxwell Glover, Dark Synovia, Comrade Net, if you can get back to me. The obnoxious anarchists not being here seems to be what turns off Comrade Net. I still talk to Comrade Net, but he can't fight the slander against him and his comrades in real life because, well, to be honest, there's too much anti-native as well as anti-Jewish, anti-Muslim, and anti-lumpen bullshit on the far left. MRN is a tool of the First World Lumpen Proletariat Antifa Action, Fourth World, which includes Native Americans, First Nations Palestinians, and Indigenous Mexicans. MRN also recognizes the First World Proletariat is a majority black. But it is blackness, lumpen and Fourth World struggle to make up the resistance in the First World, not the racist hive minds of whiteness or Eurasian neo-colonial supremacy. MRN also stands for diaspora nations like the Jewish nation, which is in opposition toward the Zionist state, calling itself Israel. Lumpen Third Worldists will make sure it stays this way. We will lift up the struggle of the Third World over the struggles of the First World, the Third World over this First World. Within the First World, we ally with black nationalism and Pan-Africanism, but we support Pan-Asianism, but not Eurasianism, which is neocolonialism. We support Pan-Arabism, and to some extent, to a lesser degree, Pan-Islamism. But the mainstream so-called alternative media is shy away from the material reality, which is essential to geopolitics. MRN does not.
You know, I should probably announce that I'm live before I fucking sit here and say what I'm about to say. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste the stream to my Discord. So let me go ahead and do that real quick. And then we'll go ahead and get started. But I don't know. I have got something important to say right now. The long story short, I think I seriously fucked up. I think I made a terrible, terrible mistake. All right. So, nobody's here. Doesn't fucking surprise me. Well, you guys can watch this stream later and digest its contents. It's early as shit. It's 8 in the morning. And I would be streaming later when most of y'all are woken up. I know a lot of people out there are morning people, but I literally don't have any other time to do this. I mean, I guess I could have done this tomorrow. But anyways, let's talk about what I'm talking about, all right? So, for those of you who don't know, I recently did a stream cozying up to Infrared and basically getting on good terms with this man after he basically got done treating Jason like shit. He treated Jason like shit. He's treated the obnoxious anarchists like shit. He's treated leftism today like shit. He's treated me like shit. Point is that he's treated all these other left-wing channels like shit. And here I am cozying up with this guy who is either A, arguing in bad faith to do apologetics for U.S. imperialism and colonialism against Jason, or B, he genuinely believes these things. In other words, he's no different from a common neocon, or a common conservative, basically. And that is not a good thing, and that is not something worth enabling, upholding, and or supporting. And on the advice of YouTuber, a mutual streamer. He said that I should get on the good graces of Haas because he is growing rather quickly, and I could take advantage of that. Like, I could get put on panels. I mean, fuck, Haas offered to put me on panels. Like, you get, for those of you who were there or have seen the stream, Haas pretty fucking quickly, just by me fucking being a yes man, was ready to put me on panels, which would have surged the size of my channel. Like, my channel would be experiencing surges right now. So I don't really know if I should really go through with it because it just feels really opportunistic for me to sit here and play a yes man to somebody who's treated not only me like shit, but a couple of my other friends like shit, who is making conservative, right-wing, reactionary arguments and talking points in favor of American patriotism and all this other jazz. I mean, things that Jason has frequently called him out on and basically argued correctly throughout the course of that debate. It just feels very dirty to me. And I don't know if I want to, I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can fucking cozy up to someone who's basically a pathological bullier, someone who does this debate bro bullshit, who's literally no different from Vosh. Like, when you look at the individualistic, douchey, bullying behavior of Vosh, and you see the fucking performative cruelty of Vosh and being on Vosh, and then when you look, like, Haas does the exact same shit. And yeah, he's growing. He's building a quick, rapid audience, and I could tap into that by compromising on my own morals. So, but what it costs is the question. What costs is the question. Because now I'm being an opportunist. Now I'm being a rightist. I'm basically selling out so that I can grow the channel. And I don't want to do that. You know, I'd rather this channel remain small at a few thousand subs than have tens of thousands of subs and be like another Dylan Burns or another Vosh or, a God forbid, a Haas, you know. So now you know what is on my mind, and I can't do this. I can't collaborate with Haas. I apologize to my audience. I apologize. You guys deserve better than that. The main selling point of this channel thus far has been that I've been a principled, intellectual communist who actually sticks with the facts and tells things how it is and does things my way, you know. And I want to do things my way. I don't want to do things the infrared way because, yeah, I could, but at what cost? I'm going to grow an audience full of toxic reactionaries like he has. Like, look at the people in his chat. They are constantly bullying, shitting on, and putting down other people while filleting their Lord and Savior Haas. I don't want that. I don't fucking want an audience like that. I want an audience of people who have the critical thinking skills to question the world around them and come to their own conclusions. And I want to foster a good, healthy environment for that sort of thing, which is why I'm placing an emphasis on banning the trolls, banning reactionaries, banning people, purging the reactionary components of this subscriber base. And you know what? I think this is fully justified. I don't give a fuck, you know. I don't give a fuck if me and Haas are not on good terms after this, or if me and Maupin are on good terms after this. I would rather stay by the principled and correct decision. And once again, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry that I almost fucking sold out, got greedy, and went in to do something incredibly opportunist. Like I said, I was partially doing it on the advice of a mutual YouTuber who is also very small that's trying to grow their channel as well. And I realize how seriously I fucked up. But what would have even been worse is if I actually followed through with it, if I really did sell out. And like I said, you guys deserve better than that. So with that being said, I think that's all I have to say for now. I'm going to go and read some comments. Dude, I could rip him in half ideologically. Did you see the amount of fucking bullshit he was pushing for? Imagine sitting here and saying advocating for decolonialism is virtue signaling, and then, you know, saying all the good shit that he has about being a socialist patriot or an American patriot. You know, all the virtue signaling he's done as being anti-Anglo, and now he's virtue signaling as a patriot. Now, you know, I have a feeling he's only doing this because Maupin to cozy up to Maupin. That's what it feels like. Bro, why don't you go back in time and rewind the stream like a minute, like 3 or 4 minutes? I literally just said so. Like, just rewind the stream and rewatch it. I'm only going to be live for like 3 or 4 more minutes. That is going to be very difficult to do. Very difficult. But I do want to start releasing weekly essays akin to Hakeem. It's to get to a point to where Hakeem, I had to just cozy up to Hakeem. Cozy up to Hakeem or Yugo Punk, because I'm a lot more ideologically aligned with them than I am some opportunistic LARPer who's going to call other people LARPers for wearing a hat. And here you are dressed up as Conan the Barbarian for whatever reason. Like, total projection, dude. Like, Haas is an incredibly toxic person. I don't give a fuck if me and Haas aren't on good terms after this. I don't give a quarter of a fuck. I would rather be on bad terms with Haas and Maupin and whatever little reactionary cult that they're trying to put together than be cozied up with them and completely compromise on all my morals and values. Fuck that noise. Anyways. Haas' response to Cockshot. About what? I have no idea what you're talking about. Anywho, like I said, I think that's pretty much all I have to say. All I can do at this point is really repeat myself. But I'm going my own way, and I'm doing things my way. I'm not doing things the Maupin or Haas way. I'm going to carve and blaze my own path. And I'll grow the channel exponentially on my own terms, not on the terms of a bunch of fucking bullies and toxic reactionaries on the internet. Cultish behavior in any group has the potential to put people in danger. I've seen this in Caleb, Elux, and Haas. Yeah, no, it's disgusting. Like, the amount of groupthink that goes on within this sphere of politics is ridiculous. Nobody calls each other out. There are no contradictions, all right? In traditional Marxist Hegelian philosophy, there are contradictions wherever you go. But when you enter that sphere, when you enter the bubble of Haas and Jackson and Maupin, you enter that sphere of the realm of the world, there are no contradictions. There is no dialectics going on in there, comrades. There is absolutely no contradictions whatsoever. You go in, everyone is just nodding along with what their fucking Lord and Saviors have to say. They just automatically agree with it. Everything they say is just automatically incorrect. Yeah, fuck that. I'm not about that. I don't disagree with Haas because he's a debate bro. I disagree with Haas because he was bullying Jason at the same time doing fucking apologetics for fucking U.S. colonialism, either in bad faith or not. That's basically what he was doing. Like, he was taking a bunch of right-wing positions, making Ayn Rand tier-level arguments. Well, if you want to decolonize, why don't you just let a shit ton of Indians live with you? Like, stupid arguments like that. Like, go back and watch the debate, dude. Seriously. Anyways. I'd love to keep streaming, but I unfortunately have a million other things that I need to get done within the next 3 hours before I go to work. From lifting weights to working on my Contra video. By the way, expect the Contra video to be out this weekend. I've been putting a lot of love in that video. It's not going to be super long, but it's going to be a decisive little... I'm slipping a little tactical nuke in there for you guys. Little tactical cluster bomb straight at Contra's shitty ideas. But anyways, we are going to maintain the course. We're going to stay the course of this channel for now, even if it means compromising growth in the short term, because in the long term, not in the long term, you guys deserve better. My psychology will be better off for it because I'm not being intellectually dishonest. And you all have a nice day.
Chad Antifa, fellow traveler, dude, I love you, but sometimes your arrogance pisses me off. I really wanted to endorse leftism today, but he really pisses off the Navajo and the Hopi and the lumpen trans community. They feel that he's an assimilated neo-colonialist. Socialism for all, or S4A, Much better. Dude, I totally accept the apology, dude. I've got your back. I totally take it. I mean, I think you're totally wrong about the lumping, and I think I've proved it more than once. And you've kind of talked down on my friend comrade Net, and Net's involved with a lot of stuff I wish you weren't involved in. But I can't name names in this situation because that's dangerous for these people. I asked that you, Mason Steiner, Net, do a struggle session podcast called Mouse Rebel Gang. Now, I disagree with the New American, but it's an idea from Mason Steiner, not Caleb Maupin. These are two different things. So what Mason Steiner advocates for is not the same thing that Caleb Maupin advocates for. Now, Trav's never debunked third worldism, and I don't think he can. The struggle session could happen when Comrade Net's not under fire. Net never sold you out, but you kind of almost did. So, me and Lumpen Third Worldist would really like it if you kind of stopped the anti-lumping stuff.
This is a test. This station is conducting a test of the emergency broadcast system. This is only a test.
Trapper enters a boxing match to save a beautiful nurse from being transferred tonight at 7.
This is a test of the emergency broadcast system. The broadcasters of your area, in voluntary cooperation with federal, state, and local authorities, have developed this system to keep you informed in the event of an emergency. If this had been an actual emergency, the attention signal you just heard would have been followed by official information, news, or instructions. This station serves the Tampa operational area. This concludes this test of the emergency broadcast system.
Dum dum, diddle dum dum, diddle dum dum, diddle dum dum. There was a turtle by the name of Bert, and Bert the turtle was very alert. When danger threatened him, he never got hurt. He knew just what to do. He ducked and covered, ducked and covered.
He did what we all must learn to do. You
and you
and you
and you, duck and cover.
Be sure and remember what Bert the Turtle just did, friends, because every one of us must remember to do the same thing. That's what this film is all about. Duck and cover. This is an official civil defense film produced in cooperation with the Federal Civil Defense Administration and in consultation with the Safety Commission of the National Education Association. Produced by Archer Productions, Incorporated.
Bastard. Alright, there's my pencil. My mouse has back buttons on it, and I accidentally ejected myself out of the stream. Alright then. Okay. Oh, you bastard. I am definitely very well prepared. So this is a discussion of not just criticisms, but just speaking out towards Mason Snyder and trying to understand what has been going on. One of the big problems that has happened is that with Trav being sort of abandoned by by you, Mason, is that he's developed further and further anti-lumpen rhetoric, which I know is not something that you wanted to happen with, from what I've been told. From what I've heard of you, you're very supportive of the lumpen proletariat. So that is one of the very big issues that has initially come from the development of your your disappearment, and not much process being made over the how long has it been since you and Trevor been working there? I don't know. I'm not very good on the years, but you know what I mean. Your faith in Conor Gillis caused havoc to MRN and fucked up the rhythm of trying to get out, good content of what we need to be talking about, because of the drama that ended up ensuing because of it. And it's caused havoc for PSFM and other people like that. And it's just massively disrupt the flow of what we're trying to deal with here. Just as bad as the Emiselic engagements that's been happening between, MRN and that shithead fucking B-liberal. The fact that you were engaging with them and not engaging more with Danke instead as well is something that really niggles me a bit. Like, you should be engaging with Danke and PRP, Mason. That would be the best way to be pushing forward with your new American Leninism thing that you're trying to go forward with, is to engage with someone like Comrade Danke, someone who is a Marxist Leninist that is open to Maoist concepts. And I mean, we really needed to discuss as well, which I'd love to have a full discussion with you about, on the whole New America thing, because yeah, I understand, Falcon, but it's because his internet went out. Anyway, apparently that's the case. That's what I've heard. I don't know the full ins and outs, but with New America is a colonial idea, is the big issue, Mason, and your ideas of New Africa are incorrect. New Africa is supported by natives. It's not a racist concept. Of course, yeah, maybe some natives are against it, some natives are for it, but it's for their discussion to be had. It's something that is PSFM at the very least, and the Navajo nations are in agreement of and support. Your attack on Net was a bit brash. Like, Net has been doing absolutely everything and has been supporting not just you but MRM, but the things he's doing on the ground and everything in between. To be coming at anything that he's been doing and trying to slough criticism his way, it's just it's not very cordial or respectful behavior. There's no reciprocity in that type of mentality. Out of anything that you could have been coming out to say, is you should have just said the whole situation is fucked and I need to get down to the problem, not what ended up coming across more like a sly attack at MRN and a direct attack at Net. But of course, I'm willing to talk a lot of all this out with you if you want to speak with me. But we'll get on into more of that. I'd also like to say that you need to expand your understanding of the labor aristocracy and the problems they cause. I mean, some of that comes into some of your ideas, like your cultural basis as an aristocrat. Even though I understand that you have been through lumpen and proletarian lifestyles, that you come from a much softer ground than myself and Net and other people like that. So, that cultural basis and background seems to fuel what I see as, like, you've thrown your heart into the wrong place, where you think that you're going to be able to convert people from the Fed over to be revolutionaries, which just ain't going to happen. Like, I mean, if you're really going to be thinking along the lines of people who have been lumpenized and thrown into some form of workforce like that, you don't want to be looking at someone that you're perceiving as lumpen bourgeoisie, which the police aren't really. The police are labor aristocracy. What you want to be looking at is, you want to be looking at somewhere like the army, where lumpen proletarian people go and lose their lives because they got nothing else. They got no money, they got no home, they got no life, but they fit enough that they could carry a rifle and fight in the war. So they'll go join the army. But you know, we need you back in the position of trying to straighten out Trav's line and get him more entwined with the lumpen proletariat and not having this very disconnected line from the third world and how they operate within the situation, and to really combat his racism as well, because calling Afghanistani people a bunch of Arabs in flip-flops is absolutely ridiculously racist, and you know there can't be that slide. You know, I'm I'm the lumpen proletarian geezer you've been looking for to speak to, Mason, and I'll absolutely sit down and drink you to 11, bro. That's the thing. I got all the respect in the world to give if you're gonna engage in me and give it back to me, but you gotta prove that all this bullshit is bullshit as far out of your hands as it is out of our hands, and that we can co-opt this and deal with this. Otherwise, what's it? I don't know how I'm going to be able to think about this. So we need to really engage with each other on this and get down to the bottom as to what the fuck has gone on over the last few months. Because we've seen Trav take opportunistic swings. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, Trav using the M word as well multiple times as well. So I forget about that. But the fucking mouse, fucking bastard. But the what's it? You know, Trav been taking opportunistic swings towards Infrared and fucking what's it? Caleb Maupin. And even though he turned around and made his apology, there was a comment that he did post and then deleted that turned around and basically said, "Oh yeah, no, I'm probably going to take him up on the offer anyway, though." Which is like, well, what's the point in making a statement if you're going to turn around and think that you can just go and get the reward from being a bastard anyway? Because that comes with you having to be a bastard. Like, there's no way about it. You're going to end up fucking folding and folding and folding. Every fucking thing is a foldable fucking card, so long as it gets what it fucking wants. So that needs to be co-opted. But well, that's it. We go to engage on this. I understand that you've been cut off from your capacity to communicate, but regardless, we need to engage once you've got everything set up, because all I can do is speculate if I haven't got your words. And that essentially wraps everything up. This is a very short stream compared to most others. Well, long live the Jewish diaspora movement, long live the intercommunalist revolutionary movement, and long live fucking, what's it? Maoism, the world. It's a mental, everyone. See you later. Hey, I'll call man. Respect.
That was DaStoned Soviet, also known as Lumpen Third Worldist. Now, in Mason Steiner's defense, he chose Liz Gillis based on the fact that Panther Code had been tricked into supporting her. You know, it's a mistake. We all make mistakes, that's fine. More on this at another time. This is not about Connor. Listen to some more from the Lumpen Third Worldist.
Maupin, you know, Maupin is treading in sort of very, very, very hallowed grounds with the way he's operating. I mean, I've got to come in here with a message from the Comrade number 3 of the Navajo himself. He's very busy right now, so he can't come and speak about it right now, but he will be coming out and he will be telling people Wagwan, and you'll be fucking listening Wagwan. Now, Comrade number 3 has essentially got to really point this out, is that patriotic socialism, truly patriotic socialism in America, that patriotic socialism is when the white man applies to the natives for citizenship. That is PSFM's message. That is the Navajo people's message. That patriotic socialism in America is where the white man applies to the native for citizenship. Caleb has appropriated this term from PSFM. This is appropriation.
MRN update. While the lumpen Third Worldist has the power to override Luke the Anglesist and the Falcon General, it is Dark Synovia who can override Maxwell Glover. Maxwell Glover is permanent to MRN. He is our ambassador of multipolar cooperation.
Caleb Maupin. You're talking about something Caleb Maupin said, where he basically did a whataboutism on ethnocentral states. And without answering the question at all, it was given to him, and without doing any clarification or criticism on the type of questions being given, he just allowed it to pass on and moved on to the point of Maoism. Unfortunately, I only centered my criticism on the Eurocentrism, on the ethnocentrism comments, and not talking about the Maoism comments. I'll probably talk about the Maoism comments later on in this, but don't be surprised if I forget again. I mean, what's it? And the reason why I'm taking time as well to have to clarify initially on the other points is that I guess it must have been confusing. Maybe it wasn't. He did delete his comment straight after, but I do have a funky Caleb comment for you to see. We can't see all of it. I didn't get to see all of it myself because by the time I come to see it, he deleted it. But this is a nice little funky one. Share screen. Yes, I am very prepared. Window, snip and sketch, share. He commented that I think you should watch the clip again. I tried to answer an incoherent question. You guys aren't Marxists, you are thinking about ethno-states and settlers and blah, 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 blah. I mean, we've got to think about those things because they exist, Caleb. Like the US, Israel, and other places like that, they exist. The American supercontinent exists. These are settler locations. It's fucking covered in Europeans. This is settlerism. This is something we have to speak about. We can't just ignore what is going on and what has gone on. But I mean, what's it? What I'm gonna do is we're gonna watch the clip, and I'm gonna break it down as to why the way he dealt with that question is still problematic. Even if it wasn't him who initially pointed towards those things, we'll have a nice bit of enjoyment on this one. Let me clear. No, that's the stream. That's my YouTube channel. There we go. Live 294. Okay then, so start screen, share screen, window. When will the overgrown leprechaun give me his pot of gold and turn me into a billionaire? I don't know, but what's it? I really wonder, you know, when he is going to fully explain what a socialist billionaire truly is, how someone could be both a billionaire but also a revolutionary communist. It's a very big drasticity I'm seeing between those two things. But here we go. We've got the Caleb clip. Yeah. Let's get it right to the point of the question.
Would an ethnocentric nation be socialist internally but oppose Maoists? What? 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 I don't even know. But first of all, what's an ethnocentric nation? I mean, is the United States an ethnocentric nation because of white privilege?
You see what I mean? So his point number one, where he goes, is an ethnocentric nation because of white privilege. That is an understatement of history. It's an ethnocentric nation because of white privilege. No, it's an ethnocentric nation because of settler colonialism and slavery. White privilege is an utter understatement of history. And it continues on to then relate it to France and then Israel. It's like, as if this needs to be the questionability. An ethnocentric nation is a nation built around the ethnicity, not just somewhere that's in a location that has a certain ethnicity. It is a specific type of nation centered around the absolute power of one race over everything else. But we'll continue on. Here we go.
I mean, is that what you're getting at? I mean, is France an ethnocentric nation because it's historically white people? Is Israel, an ethnocentric nation?
Yes.
There's one religious ethno group that it is their state. I mean, I don't know what you're getting at there. And could it be socialist internally but oppose Maoists? I don't know. I mean, it's very ready, and they're just.
And I fucking lost the position like a fucking gimp. 136.
What is privilege? I mean, is getting at white people, ethno group that.
Okay, so I'm back at the point. The problem I have is that he then goes, he just does a whataboutism. What is it? Is it this? Is it that? Is it this? And then he just moves on to the next point of question. No criticism on the issues of ethno-nationalism or ethnocentrism or just ethno-states in general. He just moves on and then goes on about Maoism. And he's trying to come out and say that, oh, I was dealing with a confusing question and all that. All you've done is just then whataboutized it. You've not gone, okay, well, this is a confusing question. Why are you promoting ethnostates? Ethnostates are a problem. The US, you could see as an ethnostate, and that is problematic, X, Y, and Z. You could be perceiving France as it, and France has this problem, X, Y, and Z, and then Israel. He's not explained the point. He's not come at all of them and explained where they could be wrong because of that and made an argument. He's used the fact that he can abuse whataboutism to avoid making an argument surrounding something that he either agrees with or disagrees with, but we don't know if he doesn't make the point. So at the end of the day, you come in at this, and you come in and looking at this. As far as I come in and look at this, he's gone and absolutely ignored ethnocentrism to then talk about Maoism, and he likes to go in on the fucking Maoists, as we all might be aware, which we will get to in a bit. But I mean, it comes into like Caleb's mentality as well. He probably thinks that, oh wow, this is just another third world issue attacking me, as if I've got some like hate boner for him. I've fucking known about you for a very, very long time, Caleb. I've been mates with fucking Jason for a little while. That was like 2.5 years now. I know who you are. I used to have respect for you. I mean, I even have some prepared for you know, this part of the discussion, because there was a Caleb that I really, really did like. I'll get him up for you. You know, whatever happened to this Caleb? I like this Caleb. Anyone know? Because now he looks like a fucking tosser in his monkey suit with his chipped up hair. Like, what the fuck happened to this Caleb? Fucking, what's it? He can have my left kidney if he brings this Caleb back. Like, you know, radical, dressed like a fucking, dressed like a geezer, not like a fucking, what's it, like a CIA agent. Doesn't give a fuck about fucking where he needs to go and where he needs to get. He's gonna have his fucking hair and the way he looks the way he is. This looks like someone I could more get involved with, someone who ain't bothered about dressing like he is. I know he is an aristocrat. I'm not giving him any to fault on that, but that would make him one of the, he's coming across like a dodgy at best type, not like most of the aristocracy that are just absolute enemies. He's trying there, is my point. And I have another one as well. It's it fucking doesn't like to switch very well. No, not a video file. Fucking StreamYard. There's this one too. Once again, Caleb, when I could have respect for him, Maupin before LinkedIn. I mean, what's it? Bring back leather jacket Maupin. Needs to be what's it? Needs to be the new hashtag Maupin. No life till leather. Oh, Metallica fans will get it. But the it's not like I'm coming at it. It's like I hate Maupin and I think he should be fucking down. No, I hate what he is. I don't fucking have some hate boner against the person. I'm sure he's a lovely person at dinner parties, but whatever the fuck he is, I ain't for it. We're supposed to be fucking lighter. Why doesn't anything work? 1 second. There's the sound to me returning to matches. I'm lighting candles to get the noodles sexy. You blew the candle up, blowing the match out. Intelligent. I have some of it somewhere. And apparently this thing doesn't work. Okay. So, in a few years' time, we'll probably need to send a resume over, cover letter, job references, and provide a LinkedIn to apply to join the CPI.
Have you been a hot enough worker to be a part of this group? If you're one of them lumpen proletarians that Lenin said is the big no-no, then you cannot join.
I mean, fuck. What's it? I mean, I was dealing with one of his little followers trying to turn around and say that the police should fucking deal with the lumpen because it's less, quote, enemies of the revolution to deal with. Bitch, please. In America, especially, more than anywhere, lumpen have been the fucking strongest fucking pushers of revolt. Who were the ones pushing for prison reforms in America? Not just lumpen people, it was mostly the people in the prisons themselves. But I mean, it comes down to this. He goes from being this very outspoken, loud geezer. He's unmatched on Wall Street. He's giving his voice out loud and clear. He looks like one of us with the way he's dressed in, like, dressed in his leather jackets. He's got all his hair on, like if you were anyone who is, familiar with the working class thrash metal scene of the 80s, they would know, what that look is envisioning. And now, fucking, my man's just some suit and booter with his fucking fancy tie.
Caleb Maupin is very middle class, but he has a very good anti-imperialist. A college campus kid originally. Nothing really wrong with college activism if I'm being real. It just so happens that things change. You used to be able to get real sympathy from the white middle-class liberals going to college because they wanted to be enlightened. Not anymore, though. The far left, who actually are going to college, all know all too well that only the CIA can recruit over there with any success. This is why anyone from the far left in college knows to not agitate at all. It is better to take to the streets. Allies in college must answer to the radicals on the street. But don't worry, Caleb tells us all that socialist billionaires living in China will colonize America soon in a space race. I'm paraphrasing here. How is it that I know that I am someone with white privilege? How is it that you reject there is a middle class? Caleb Maupin, you are white. It is not okay to be white.
Let's get on to his point of Maoists, because I feel like I've covered the ethnocentric stuff. If I haven't, someone shout at me enough in the comments before this is over and I'll get back to it.
Real patriotic socialism in the UK is when the Irish lead the Scottish and the Welsh to insurrection against English supremacy over the so-called British Isles. The only ones in England that stand with this are lumpen and the lumpen children of immigrants. Real patriotic socialism in the USA, Canada, Australia, New Zealand is when the white man applies to the indigenous for citizenship. Real patriotic socialism in the state of Israel is when the ultra-Orthodox Jews recognize Palestine, not Israel. Patriotic socialism is a demarchist theory. As for Maoism, several Maoists ally with patriotic socialists, which is why Caleb Maupin had to push his proletarian patriotism and conflate it with not just patriotic socialism, but the patriotic proletarianism with multipolar ML innovations such as Chad Antifa, Mason Steiner, and Danky Kane. Does it upset you that Danky Kane is an open ML? Does it upset you that Mason's New America would not be the USA? Even with my disagreements with Mason, at least he is seeing the need for revolution. Caleb Maupin, you know about Operation Paperclip. You speak of the military-industrial complex, yet you cannot see the wisdom of decolonization. You slander Antifa because you need to secure your bank account so that when the next big crash comes, you can move to another country.
Caleb, you are one person and you are in an ethnocentric nation. Like, what are you implying by I am not an ethnocentric nation? Like, what is the implication? Are you implying American nation of peoples? Because America has never been a solidified nation. America is a conglomerate. Like, if we're talking on nations of people, it's not a conglomeration of a single nation of people. It's the white nation of Europeans conglomerated, oppressing the black nation and the native nations. And always remember, it's plural. There's not one native nation. There is plenty of them. They're not just one people. It's the native peoples. There's loads of native groups. And to homogenize them is a genocidal fucking use of language. You're reducing them to one group. It is many, many groups. But, you know, I just want to know what the implications of his referring himself to a nation. Maybe it's just a blunder in his language. We all do it, but, you know, it's a live stream. I'm not the best spoken of people. He speaks much better than I can, I'll tell you that. I'd like substantiation on that. Like, most communists in India hate the Naxals in India. I mean, like, what communists, what parties, what groups, and the Naxals aren't the only Maoists in India. This is, like, Strawmanius Maximus. Like, please elaborate, Caleb, because that's going into very, very big big territory where you have loads and loads and loads of communist parties, and as comrades of mine have told me, you know, those who are engaged with comrades from India, and even comrades from India myself, who have told me bad things about the Naxals, good things about the Naxals. I've also been told many bad things about all these separate different communist parties that may not be what they seem. Been told good things about others. It flips and flows. India is not a country we have a clear message on. If you give just unclear messages, you are not actually aiding in any discussion about that specific area and that specific group. You are murkying it up. We can't have passive discussion on India because it's not a passive situation. It is a hostile situation with a war going on within all these within the struggle. The revolution has been going on since 1973, carried on by many different groups. You know, it's been through its bells and fucking it's been through bells and whistles of so many different chimes. For you to even just say, oh well, all the, you know, most of the communists in India oppose the Naxals, that's like fucking you know, what would be a good analogy for it? I don't even know how to think of an analogy for it, because it's hard to analogize to something that's just straight up would it be gaslighting? You're essentially taking what could be a position that comes from stable groups that we could name, that could say that yes, these oppose these people and for why, and turning it into a most of just hate this specific. You need to have some form of clarification, because for someone like myself, it's just going over my head. I don't understand what the fuck you're as far as I'm concerned, you are just using implicative means to say that the fucking Naxals aren't worth considering, which, like I say, I hear good and bad things from either end of the shtick. Please elaborate.
The Shining Path in Peru, the overwhelming majority of communists in Peru oppose the Shining Path.
Well, that's not actually true either. Like, there are multiple parties in Peru, don't get me wrong, but the Shining Path has still a very large following and is still massively supported. To come out and say that most communists in Peru hate the Shining Path would be ignorant of the fact that the Shining Path is still in struggle right now. I hate Gonzo Man just as much as many other people do, but Gonzo, you know, that Spaniard is the only motherfucker in that struggle. Actually, most of the people in that struggle end up being natives. But, you know, everyone would just want to fucking attack the Shining Path all the fucking time without any clear fucking criticism. It's all just what Gonzalo was. Well, Gonzalo and the other elements of the party that were just like Gonzalo is one aspect of the Shining Path. They were not just a very large party, but because of Gonzalo's what would we say irresponsibilities, a lot of the Shining Path was cut off from each other and did their own operations. There is much more to be learnt from that, because not all areas of the Shining Path were as shitty as some. Actually, you could argue most areas of the Shining Path weren't shitty as some. It's just one of those elements where it shows how a few dominoes can knock over the rest. But that's not the discussion. That needs to be a further discussion in and of itself. Just really to point in that to come in and try and shit on the Shining Path in a blanket statement, to try and shit on the Indian Maoists in a blanket statement, rather than going into an explanation as to why Maoism is bad, I can't see, you know, what is the point in even trying to express a situation in this? Like, you've taken a question that was a bad question, and rather than saying ethnocentrism is wrong and Maoism is wrong, because those are your beliefs, because I'm sure you believe ethnocentrism is wrong, Caleb, you then did a whataboutism about both of them. You didn't answer the questions.
But it just means people that are inspired by Mao. There you go. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you're getting at there, right? This is a strange question. Very, very strange question. That's okay. I generally tend to answer people's questions. All right. What is the difference between corporatism and neoliberalism? Well,
see, he actually does a really good bit here where he talks about corporatism and neoliberalism. It's all right. It's all right. But, you know, Did anyone hear the sound of the rod inserting into his ass when he said I tend to answer people's questions? I'm only joking with you, Caleb. Don't worry about it. But I mean, what's it? You get a question that's bad. You should answer why the question is bad. Why, you know, an ethnocentric state shouldn't exist, period. Not what is an ethnocentric state. Because all you're doing is muddying the waters up more. You know, when fuck me, if there's a fucking horrible current that's dragging people into a fucking shit sense of feeling, your mentality shouldn't be to drag the waters some more. Your mentality should be to stop the current where it stands and explain the situation. You should be explaining what ethnocentricity is and why it's wrong. And because you believe Maoism is wrong, you should be explaining what Maoism is and why it is wrong. These are supposed to be long-wind talk discussions, Caleb. You know, Tuesday night, chat with Caleb. Take the time to have an expensive discussion. Or if the expensive discussion is too long, you can turn around and say, well, you know, right now not really the opportune time to speak of it, but we could speak of this in a larger discussion, whilst you also, in that point, give a small dissertation as to your disagreements with ethnocentricity, but your agreements that we should be opposed to Maoism. And then you can say that you will express deeper in a video talking about these issues. So you can go many different ways about this, or just not answer the question. Instead, what you've done is you've decided to answer a question by not answering the question. You answered it with whataboutisms. So really, Caleb, you know, when you come at it as well with the big funny, and you come and do a comment on a video that has like what 20 views, and you tell me off for not listening. You could at least leave your comment, Caleb, and stick by the words you've said. Like, it's not the hardest thing to do. I'm not gonna bite. Well, I might, but only for kinky reasons.
The Hegelian theory of the nation-state has been discredited over and over again. Stalin made too many mistakes concerning the national question. Caleb, you need to leave the true revolutionaries alone. Stop targeting the poor. Stop being so white. I work with those fighting the so-called deep state. You used to do the same. Those with privilege must work for those with less privilege. Electoralism will lead us to fascism, and when it does, it leads us to radical liberalism. When the natives start boycotting the legislation in larger and larger numbers, then everyone else must follow. Caleb, you are not a leader. You have become a suit. I have to be extra careful because you will no doubt use your privilege to end the message of the truly oppressed.
You can more than openly open this discourse up. If you really, really want to talk about this, you have my reciprocity. I'll be respectful. I'll hear you out. I'll put your positions up, because to be honest, Caleb, I, just as much as I'm one of your largest critics, and I have been one of your largest critics, and I've talked to Jason for a very long time about how troublesome you could be, but how possibly great you could have been at the same time if you had your fucking head screwed on the right fucking way around. I would certainly love you to be on the right side of this position. I'd like you to be on the right side of this argument. I'd happily engage with you if you really want the debate. And I mean verbal, none of this text chat bollocks. We speak about it, we stream about it, we discuss about it, we allow interaction from the fucking crowd and see what they have to say. You can be the controller of that if you really fucking want to. Just, the door is open, Kulab. We can have the discussion. But be mindful that regardless of how you go about this, if your position is staying the same and you're sticking up for the socialist patriotism, we are going to be criticizing you. And that does mean we are going to say stuff that puts your position on the back burner as something that is reactionary, and we are going to criticize it as such. You could engage with that in debate and prove it isn't, or explain why we've got you wrong, and we can discuss about this, or this can just be the shit fling you want it to be. We put a dissertation out, and then essentially we forget about you until you become relevant enough for us to give a shit anymore, because we've got more important things really to talk about. You know, the fact that you've managed to take attention is just because of how much trouble that you've caused in the meanwhile, enough that it has been idiotic that we have kept a relationship with you in any means necessary. And the fact that Jason has been mates with you for so long was just a poignance of Jason's respect. He's disagreed with you the whole fucking time. For you to get pissy about it because he's come out now, after he's given you the respect for you to engage in on your position, but every time he's asked you to debate on it and speak on it, you have ignored him, and then you're going to be a little bitch because he's come out of it. That really fucking shows the absolute bonkers mentality that you're throwing us down with. But like I say, the option for us to speak is up front, and you can end the discussion instantaneously if I stop being an asshole.
This is Luke Dublin, the Anglesist. MRN is hosted by Jason Unruhe, the Maoist rebel. I am his successor. I'm aware many accuse both me and the Falcone General of doing some kind of hostile takeover of MRN, which is absolute bullshit. Marxism-Leninism has no relevance outside of the Third World as well as the post-Soviet Eastern Bloc. We are not fanatics. We recognize that there are credible Marxist-Leninist countries that, like Iraq. We even recognize that there are credible ML cadres in the First World, such as Danke and FVK. American Leninism is a term for Marxist-Leninists in Canada and the United States who are opposed to populism. Those who can be called a part of American Leninism are Mason Steiner, Chelanti for the Fellow Traveller, Danke Kang, FTK, and the entire People's Revolutionary Party. Not everyone in the American Leninist camp agrees with Mason Steiner's theory, so it is no concern of ours. But we do want a federated camp to be able to be capable of uniting with the American Leninist camp against such populists as Caleb and Haz. We have a lot of instability due to constant attacks from aristocrats claiming to be communists. Mason Steiner, get your ass back on YouTube. Maoist Rebel Gang is a struggle session podcast which has already been created for the purpose of discussions between radical tendencies and a struggle against what most of MRN considers outdated ideologies, such as Marxism-Leninism, but is also a demonstration of alliance. This podcast is meant to have Jason Unruhe, Comrade Net, Chelanti for the Fellow Traveller, and Mason Steiner together. I don't think this will happen. Mason, from what I've seen, is all talk. I'm Irish, and my family comes from Roma and travel communities as well. The suffering of my family led to migration away from Waterford, Kilkenny, and Tipperary. I travelled with my granddad and father to meet with my family that I was estranged with. That trip made me feel, for the first time, at home somewhere outside of Manchester. My granddad met his cousin for the first time and I saw a smile creep up on his face. It was one of the most important trips of my life. The Irish struggle for freedom of British imperialism, and in the occupied 6 counties, the continued anti-colonial struggles must win. Long live Connolly, Costello and Sands. Long live the Irish struggle. On diaspora nations, I am ignorant of my history in this regard, but I know the truth of the existence of diaspora nations as I descend from Roma and traveller peoples. The Hegelian nation state is flawed at best and horribly racist at worst. I wish to know more of my family and I wish to have more knowledge of this. I wish I wasn't so ignorant on the matter. The Jewish nation is also a diaspora nation. To reject this is to reject reality, which would be anti-materialist and very Hegelian. Diaspora nations exist whether you want them to or not. Revolutionary pan-Europeanism is first and foremost the revelation that whiteness is a lie. There are no white people. Whiteness is based off of the Spanish Inquisition. The term white is itself British. It is not okay to be white. It is okay to be European. It is okay to be mixed European. It is okay to be Euro mixed with non-European. It is not okay to be white. Ethnicity exists. Race is a construct. You can't get rid of ethnicity. You can get rid of race. Blackness is the true material condition of the first world proletariat. Blackness is about 70% class and 30% about nationality. Black people, or the new African people, were conceived in hellish slave ships. This spanned over hundreds of years. In both Missouri and Louisiana, Jim Crow has been restored since the time of Hurricane Katrina. Some would even say that all Hurricane Katrina ever actually did was expose that Jim Crow had never left those places. This is beyond Mason Steiner's comprehension. Red Scare, I am beyond you and I do more than you. And what pisses me off about you is that you're older than me and you do not take the responsibilities you have seriously. When you left, I was your junior. Now you have to answer to me for your mistakes. We are both class traitors to the labor aristocracy. I grew up proletarian and got pushed into the middle class, and you fell into being a prole from the aristocracy. That's why I have no allegiance and you hold on to middle class notions. You routinely fuck off for months at a time after making projects, come back and are surprised when things are bad. You leaving and not giving MLs a philosophical groundwork is why a lot of MLs have been turned in Duganite. If you don't come back in typical and Maupinites, you will confirm that you're as white as I think you are, as well as many people of non-white ideology think you are. You have no say in whether there is or isn't a new Africa. There is no white proletariat. White and proletariat are two contradictions. It is okay to be English, but it is not okay to be British. The monarchy must go. While all of those subscribed to the Back to Europe movement follow revolutionary pan-Europeanism, not all revolutionary pan-Europeans support the Back to Europe movement. Back to Europe is not done via force and it's not done via coercion. The Back to Europe movement is done via political proselytizing. All those Europeans who wish to stay in America and Canada will have to apply to the native population for citizenship, as it's the natives' land who was stolen. This is what patriotic socialists and I agree on, as do the Maoists that work with the patriotic socialists. Europeans of the United States, Canada, New Zealand and Australia are best moving back to the UK regardless of their backgrounds. England is responsible for the US, Canada, New Zealand and Australia. England is also responsible for the Zionist state falsely calling itself Israel. UK must be pressured in helping restore many settler Zionists back to their respective countries. Native American genocide is ongoing. The Palestinian genocide is ongoing. It ends with us. It must end with us. Never again, Cadres.
Luke Dublin is very angry at Mason Steiner, but this is not an attack on Red Scare TV. This is Mouse Rebel News reaching out to Red Scare TV. Caleb Maupin, leave the Bundes alone. Caleb Maupin, leave Antifa alone. Caleb Maupin, leave the revolutionary lumpen squatters alone. Caleb Maupin, don't join the stonewalling campaign to censor Jewish, Native American, Black radical, and lumpen voices. This platform could very well disappear tomorrow because Caleb Maupin has powerful friends. But I must do what is correct. Combat liberalism, as Mao said. I will not lie. My biggest fear is that Caleb Maupin will find some neo-colonial native sellout to weaponize them against natives and lumpen. I've been trying to put out videos. I've been held back by constant attacks towards this channel because of mass false reports by both fascists and radlibs. Populists and white nationalists are also constantly targeting the Falco in general and spreading lies about her. Some have even come to believe that sexually harassing her is somehow okay. But it's not okay. Well, that shit's never okay. The internet is centralizing do an internet search for Cyber Intelligence Sharing and Protection Act, then tell me I am wrong. The independent scholar, activist, revolutionary communist must not cater to the rules of perfectionism when it is reciprocity that we must have instead. There was a stonewalling campaign against the Bundes movement. I have seen a lot of trouble come my way as soon as I met Comrade Net. This is not his fault. This is because of who Comrade Net knows. Comrade Net is actually capable of proving. Caleb Maupin hates the Bund and he hates Bundists. Caleb Maupin hates the Lumpen and he hates the Lumpen proletarian movements. Caleb Maupin hates the land back movement because it really is the same as the Free Palestine movement. Notice how attachment to imperialism is part of Americanism. I made a mistake when I said that Maupinites were some of my closest. I did not see the Trojan horse that was coming my way when I did that. Maybe just because if you fools only knew the Bund throughout the 2010s, had you not been doing such gaslighting things. There are a lot more Jewish anti-Zionists out there than you think. Unlike the Zionists which Stalin indeed supported, the Jewish anti-Zionists have won the argument in Canada, the US, and the UK. The most dialectical of them are the Bundists, and they see the Native Americans as the ones following the 7 laws of Noah. This is the center of the controversy that was around the Jewish diaspora movement. While many can only point to mistakes made by Dr. Weisfeld, there are several who know that I intend on putting Comrade 3's messages, and trust me, what you have all heard from Comrade 3 is an understatement of what he really has to say, and show to you all. It has a part of a clip from Dr. Weisfeld apologizing for those mistakes he's made. I strongly suspect that the populace already know this, and they want to shut down my main channel before I can.
You think you're original? You ain't original. You were programmed to be you. You're a slave and you don't even know it. The shit you think of ain't even your thoughts. Let's step out the box for a minute. Yo. How do we know if God exists? How do we know it's positive? Are you the definition of an angel or the opposite? If you lost your wallet and I found it, I would not commit to stealing it. But if the tables turn, then you would pocket it. See, I've been me for so long, but I still don't know who Hobson is. How come I'm the one my teachers used to have a problem with? I show my music to different labels, they ain't too fond of it. But in the underground, I seem to get so many compliments. Say my name and it's like people get afraid and shook. But if you take a look, you'll see I'm nothing like an angry crook. I'm learning hands-on, you busy with your face and books. I'm here to benefit the world, so heaven's where we're safely put. I'm not a devil, not speaking in tongues. I just want to touch your heart, I try to reach it in songs. I'm from where a child's future's on the streets with the bums, because it's hard to become something so unique where I'm from. When the sun's down, nocturnal rainbow soaring in the air so high. It may seem so that I can't see, but the darkness provides the light for me. I don't wanna be lonely, and the moon is my only homie. If there's a higher power, then show me, instead of nocturnal rainbows. Obama's president, so what's it represent? Just because the niggas half black don't mean he's ever sent. You're clueless to evidence, and all the minds he's messing with. His charming smile hasn't got my ass about this debt for shit. Frontin' like he's truly Jesus, and all you fools believe it. The change he's making isn't good, that's just how you conceived it. It's like we all broker than ever. It's due to reasons dealing with self-beneficial plans and the movement he's with. Illuminati, or whatever the fuck they go by. They're the reason weird shit happens, and we don't know why. Why did Michael Jackson start his tour then have to go die? How did rap music go from really good to so dry? Real artists get shelved and whack ones get famous. To leave masses brainless, a smart mind is dangerous. In their eyes, there probably ain't no real shit in your playlist. You just a product of what the government has created. When the sun's down, nocturnal rainbow soaring in the air so high. It may seem so that I can't see, but the darkness provides the light for me. I don't wanna be lonely, and the moon is my only homie. If there's a higher power, then show me, instead of nocturnal rainbows. Yo, We're all smart, and we know what's bad and good for us. But yet when you got offered some marijuana, you took a puff. Your brain's a fucking powerhouse. But what, that wasn't good enough? It's people like you who talk that shoulda, coulda, woulda stuff. You probably threw your life away, cause you would rather get high with no license or car. So you bum rides to get by, saying I should've did this, or I shouldn't have hung with this guy. I'm broke as fuck, my rent's high. I should've realized I ain't being cruel with these situations that I address. I more than likely could be someone you admire, yes, but it's because the blood, sweat, and all the time that I invest. We play the same game, difference is you never try your best. You don't have a skill, you set yourself up for a higher mess. I work around the clock, you slack off for lots of time to rest. Keep bullshit until your life is gone, cause living's naturally hell. You have to work to put a smile on.
Nocturnal rainbow soaring in the air so high. It may seem so that I can't see, but the darkness provides the light for me. I don't wanna be lonely, and the moon is my only homie. If there's a higher power, then show me. Instead of nocturnal rainbow, when the sun's down. Nocturnal rainbow soaring in the air so high. It may seem so that I can't see, but the darkness provides the light for me. I don't wanna be lonely, and the moon is my only homie. If there's a higher power, then show me. Instead of nocturnal rainbows. Nocturnal rainbow soaring in the air so high. Nocturnal rainbow soaring in the air so high. Nocturnal rainbow soaring in the air so high. Nocturnal rainbow soaring in the air so high.